Still awake, still feeling. This is The Scoop with Hershey Sunday, After Dark.
What's up, beautiful people? It's Hershey Sunday, and I'm back with The Scoop After Dark. If you're listening right now, I am so glad to have you here. This is a slower pace and a softer space, okay? This is a place where we don't have to rush our feelings or ourselves. But before we get into any of that, let's do a quick check-in. How are you feeling? January just ended. We're officially 1 month into the trial period of 2026. And how are you doing with it? Is it treating you kindly? Okay. Did it knock you off your feet? How is it treating you? Wherever you are, whether you're driving or lying in bed, sitting in the quiet, you don't have to perform here. You don't have to be okay here. You can just come as you are. Before we start our conversation, though, okay, being that this is the month of February, we'll get into that a little bit more. I want to take a pause and celebrate some really good friends of mine, okay? I want to give a shout out to Amora and Jeff, who's celebrating their 29th wedding anniversary today, okay? Again, they're great friends of mine, and I just wanted to send them some love, and I'm proud of y'all, you know? It's beautiful to see, especially this day and age, 29 years. It's a beautiful testament, so congratulations. Well, let's get into the scoop, okay, after dark. The truth is, guys, I have changed, okay? A lot has happened. If you have been sticking by me over the course of a couple of years, you would know that I've had some things happen, specifically 2025. My last episode of the Scoop podcast was, I want to say, in May. During 2025, it was very difficult for me, starting off with losing 4 family members, 3 aunts, 1 uncle. Two of my aunts helped raise my brother and myself, my brothers and myself. And it was very hard. Just talking about it is difficult. And we'll talk about it more in depth on a different show, but I'm giving you just the overall of what's been going on. So, dealt with losing 4 family members who I love dearly, lost my job after being told, okay, that not only was my job, I work in the medical field, being told that it was being not only extended, but a permanent position was offered. Baby, no mas, okay? They let me and quite a few others go. And it came as an abrupt surprise because that's not what we were told, okay? So, couple those very traumatic losses with the loss of income and just, trying to juggle that. It was just hard. Okay. It was hard to come back and do my regular, degular schmegular scoop of celebrity news and gossip. Because to be honest, and can we be frank? Okay. I did not care. I did not care about rich people's problems. Okay. Baby, I had my own. All right. So I took a step back. Things just weren't funny. And this is coming from a person who loves to laugh. I laugh at most things, not everything, but most things. And it was just a lot. 2025 also had me ask myself some really hard questions. One that kept bouncing around was, what kind of life do I actually want to live, right? I'm in my 30s. I have ones who I dearly love, transition. And what type of life do I really want? It also taught me not to take life for granted. So, what type of life do I really want? Do I really want the life that I'm living? Am I shrinking myself to fit in because it's the right thing to do for other people and it makes other people comfortable? I think we've all been there. Doing things just to make people comfortable. Doing things because it's how you were raised, it's how you were trained, it's what people expect of you. Um, and what is it going to cost? you know, to walk your own path. Is it worth it? Um, I understand why some people just decide and choose to go with the flow in their life and not really give any pushback and pave their own way because it's hard to do. Very, very hard to do. So I had to be honest with myself. And what I wanted the most for me was softness. I wanted softness. I wanted to be soft. And although that's probably asking a lot in this type of world that we live in, as far as I can control it, that is what I wanted for myself. I wanted more grounding. I wanted more reflection. I wanted more positive memories, memorable memories and events. I wanted to love on the people that I love, um, and pour it more into myself than what I had been doing. So it also reflected into, like, the type of work that I wanted to do. You all know that I write, okay? It's not a secret. You all know that I do digital content creating, and it's a good run. I'm appreciative of the supporters that it brought me, making new friends and learning from people. But there was something about it that I wanted to kind of pivot because I was changing. I wanted something a little bit more substantial. And this isn't knocking anything or anybody or even what I did previously. But in this point of my life right now, I wanted something substantial. I wanted something grounded. I wanted something soft. I wanted to have real dialogue and real conversations surrounded around things that I love. I love comfort. I love life. I love beauty. I love love. I love talking about self and grounding and the what ifs and being scared and afraid of things and doing them anyway. So that is what you are seeing before you. You're seeing a pivot. Okay. Um, Now I might still crack a joke too, because honey, that's who I am. Okay. I'm gonna round away fillet, but I wanted something a little more soft, a little more conversational. Think the 90s, baby. Okay. Think the 90s. Think about how you used to call into the radio station and ask a question. Think about talk radio. Okay. Real conversations with real people. And that's what you're going to get here. And I hope that you stick with me and enjoy it. Okay. So, with that being said, we are going to talk about the things that brought me comfort for the week. So, again, this is February the 1st. Okay. We're in a new month, and this month has a lot of events going on. We have Black History Month, we have the Grammys, we have Mardi Gras, Valentine's Day. I'm pretty sure something else is coming up. Is it the Oscars? Child, I probably need to go check. I feel like the Oscars is coming too. Can't be too sure, but we have a few events coming up. But for me, for February, baby, I am going to see New Edition, Boys to Men, and the Tony Braxton. Okay. They're coming to Chicago. And when I tell you I can't wait, I cannot wait. That is my self care for the month. Okay. I went to the nail shop, got my nails done, got my little toesy woesies done. Okay. So it don't look like I was throwing up gang signs. Cause baby, the toes was toesing. It was a little like, girl, we said soft life, okay? You giving school a hard knocks on these toes, but I got my toes done, got my eyebrows done, just indulging, like, ooh, I'm about to get real cute. And I'm super excited. Moving my body, going to the gym, okay? I am a thick girl, a sick madame. Shout out to the movie Fat Girls that starred Monique. Y'all remember that movie? If y'all haven't seen that movie, go. It's a oldie, but it's a goodie, baby. I love that movie. Okay, love it real bad. But moving my body, dancing, going to the gym, it's just been good. Reminiscing on music. I've been running back New Edition of Boys to Men and Tony Braxton so that I am well rehearsed in case they ask me, Hershey Sunday, they're going to talk into the mic real. Hershey Sunday, we heard you here. If you could just come on stage and sing us a little, a little bop. Okay, a little one too. I'm gonna be ready for them. Okay, I'm gonna give them, you know, the music they deserve. All right, so that's what I've been doing, and that's what's been bringing me comfort. Okay, and I am so happy to have it. What has been bringing you comfort? Let me know. Please let me know. Tonight's show, we're gonna have a self love reflection. Like I mentioned earlier, this month it's a lot going on. Okay, surrounded by love pretty much in different ways. Okay, you've got Valentine's Day coming up, and it could be a trigger for some people, it could be a celebration for others, it could be reflection for others. So I feel like for this episode we're going to talk about self-love. Okay, we're going to reflect on that um in this episode. And I want to touch on a few things, and we can be, candid about it. One of the things that I wanted to point out or bring out is why self love feels so unfamiliar, and why are we almost like shamed about it? I think people are talking about it a lot more, but it almost borderline feels like, oh, you don't need to pay that much attention to yourself. Okay. Oh, you take yourself too seriously, or you don't need to pour into you may have some people think that is vanity. Okay, if you take care of yourself in a particular way, if you have certain expectations, and that's not the case. I'm here to tell you, okay, because over here I'm judge and jury. That's not the case. But I feel like it feels unfamiliar, especially with Black folks. Okay, I can only speak as a Black woman because we have been so conditioned not to pour into ourselves, but to be of service and to pour into others. Do you feel that way sometimes? Like you're constantly pouring and pouring into other people, whether you are a parent, a caregiver, a mentor, um, a professional that deals with people on a day to day basis. I know as a medical professional myself, um, a lot. The job is, yes, technical, but you're also pouring into people. So, how does that feel for you? And are you able to pour back into yourself? I think that we've been, like I said, conditioned to abandon ourselves. I also feel that, choosing ourselves or choosing yourself can feel scary, okay, before it feels safe. Because sometimes you're going against the grain. If you're taught, put others before you, it's not that that's a bad thing, okay? I'm not advocating being selfish. But if you're constantly being taught that, constantly being taught how, oh, this person or these people are more important than you, I fear that sometimes it can become to where by default you're not giving yourself the grace or the kindness that you truly deserve. And really can't nobody really love you or show you love until you're loving yourself, right? As cliche as it sounds, it's the truth. You can't tell anyone how to love you if you're not sure how you love you. You'll accept pretty much anything. Or you'll accept the bare minimum, and you'll overgive because you're searching for that next high, that next bump of love. Okay. And that's not fair. Your softness isn't a weakness. It's not. I feel that a lot of people, and I'm going to just say for our Black women, we're taught, and it's constantly ingrained in us how rough we are, how tough we are, how we're so strong. And on the surface, it looks like a compliment, right? It looks like, oh, yeah, Black women are strong. Both things can be true. You can be a strong person, but you can also need to be held. And that can look different for a lot of people. I also think that it's a way to make women feel more masculine than what they are. You know, Black women are often taught that we're so rough and tough, and it's like a lot of us were pushed into those positions. Okay, we'll get into that in another episode. But a lot of us are soft. A lot of us have not had the opportunity to be soft. Either we weren't in a safe environment to do so, or it was taken for granted, or we were never truly taught. It was frowned upon. There's so many variable ways of why we just are not soft. But a lot of us are. A lot of us are a lot more sensitive than what we project. I know I am. And I am a tough girl, okay? This cookie is tough, all right? But I am sensitive. And even realizing that, it's so easy to laugh things off, especially growing up as a bigger girl turned woman. You laugh a lot of things off. You learn a sense of humor like no other. You learn a zinger. Okay, you learn oh, I can crack this joke. You real on your feet when it comes to the jokes. But the truth of the matter is, I'm a lot more sensitive than what people assume. And just because I may not let it show outwardly, or I don't speak on everything, or I don't blow up at every single thing or address, does not mean that things don't bother me. And even admitting that, it feels like, ooh, but if you say that, Hirsch, people are going to know that if they say something to you, it's going to be a dig. And you know, it, it is what it is. I'm soft. You know, I think the caveat to that too is I deal with people accordingly. If I feel like I'm being disrespected for my self love and self worth, I'm going to remove myself. I don't care how uncomfortable it makes you. You're not going to make me feel uncomfortable or disrespect me. I love myself. Why would I let you make me feel uncomfortable? Especially if it's been addressed. I'm just saying, a lot of pivoting, a lot of reflection. What I wanted to address is that self love can also be lonely. Okay? Self love can also be lonely. Self love may mean, man, this person or these people are here. It's something, but they don't make me feel good. Walking away from that can be lonely, but you're loving yourself enough to know I deserve better, a better quality of people. Okay. And it can be boring at first. Self love may be, hey, I love myself enough to know I can't make it to every event. Okay. I'm overworking myself. I don't want to be, rubbing elbows with people that don't make me feel good. Might mean staying home, might mean doing something that's a little more calm. That's okay. It's not always cute, y'all. It's not. Sometimes the aesthetic of self love isn't as beautiful as people will have you believe, or what a Hallmark movie will have you believe. Sometimes it's ugly crying to yourself. Okay. Sometimes it's journaling. Sometimes it's prayer. Sometimes it's grounded. It can look um, very different for different people. Sitting in the quiet is hard. Have you ever just sat with yourself without the distractions? Okay. Without, oh, I have to do this, and distracting your mind. Have you ever just sat with your feelings and identified why you're feeling this way? I have had some crying sessions doing so. And you'd be surprised how things that stem back from childhood still hit you like a freight train to this day in adulthood. You will be surprised. And sometimes just loving yourself means being misunderstood, and that's okay. Some people may not understand it, but the people who love you will give you that room to discover yourself, reinvent yourself, and they'll love you. Okay. If they can't do that, it may mean that their time with you and your time with them might be coming to a close, or it may look a lot different, and that's okay too. I also put this down, guys. Okay, you ready for this? Sometimes it means not being chosen, but choosing yourself anyway. Now it's February, right? This is the month of love for a lot of people. Being in a relationship that is not conducive to who you are and is taking away from you. And I'm not saying just throw in the towel for any silly thing. I'm being realistic with the expectations. If they're not giving you what you're needing after conversations, after therapies, after sometimes well, baby, I gotta choose me, okay? I I, I gotta choose me because you don't want to change the behavior. Choose yourself anyway. All right, Scoops, we have our question. Okay. I've had one send me questions via email or in my DMs, and I appreciate them. Okay. Got some good ones. If you want to ask a question, it'll be completely anonymous. You can go ahead and email me at thescoophs, okay, at gmail.com. Or if you DM me, that's fine as well. Just put question of the night or ask Hershey. Actually, just put ask Hershey, okay? Because we're going to also do another question of the night. So this one reads as follows: How do I love myself when it feels like no one else does? That could be a hard one. I feel like it starts with what are the things that bring you happiness? Is it reading? Is it working out? Is it learning? What are those things that bring you happiness? And are you doing those things? I would make a list. If I'm being honest, I would make a list of what makes me happy and what I want to feel. So, what makes me happy? And then another section of what I want to feel. I want to feel safe. I want to feel cared for. I want to feel listened to. I want to feel appreciated, etc., etc. And I would do those things. Just to start, I would do those things. I want to feel safe. I would protect my mental space to keep me safe. For an example, maybe that means not going around, the office cooler gossiper. Okay, maybe that means not listening to certain types of content or music that puts you in a bad headspace as best as you can. Um, I would out loud give myself words of affirmation. It may sound silly to some people, but it really does make a difference how you speak to yourself. I try to check myself and I'm like, oh, that was so stupid. No. Oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, I'm so dumb. No, 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 no. We'll talk to ourselves like that. And I'm getting out of that because it's easy to do. And I'm just telling you, do the same thing. Talk to yourself with love. Powerful affirmations. You know, talk to yourself in the mirror over and over again every day. Start off with three things. I look beautiful. I'm okay. What is that? Wasn't that in the help? Okay, you was smart, you was kind, you was important. Baby, do that. Start with that. And it sounds cliche and it sounds funny, but it's the truth. How you speak to yourself really does make a difference. And then expound on that. Start doing the things that make you happy. I feel appreciated when I receive flowers. Buy yourself some flowers. You deserve them. It doesn't hit any less just because it's you yourself buying them for you. If anything, that's the most beautiful thing. I like being fed a good meal. Guess what? When I cook myself a beautiful dinner, I feel happy. I feel like I took the time to nourish my body and give myself the best. Okay, because your girl can cook. Not to my own horn, but beat beat. Okay. I would start with that. Definitely journaling. Definitely journaling. And honestly, reading and expanding your horizon on different people who feel similar to how you feel. That would be my advice. And I hope that helped. Before we go, I have a question for y'all. Okay, a little rebuttal. What part of yourself have you been neglecting just to stay connected to others? You don't have to answer right now, but I want you to think about that question, okay? What part of yourself have you been neglecting just to stay connected to others? Now, We had holidays less than a few months ago, right? A lot of people were saying, and I've been seeing online, that they've been no contact with certain family members and certain friends for various reasons. So, that question, I want to know, if you feel like you want to talk more about that question again, you can email me, thescoophs@gmail.com. But yeah, what part of yourself have you been neglecting to stay connected to others? Now we are gonna hit a little R&B corner because ain't nothing like some good old R&B neo soul. This is a song that has been really getting my goat, honey. In correlation to this episode, I discovered her music literally a few days ago. Been wearing this song out. Now, if I'm late, if I'm tardy to the party, excuse moi, okay? Y'all know I'm in a 90s and 2000s chokehold. So sometimes I'm a little slow when it comes to, discovering the new girls on the block. Nevertheless, baby, this is a bop. Her name is Mary Gold, and her song Finding Me Again. Uh, this song is about growth and finding yourself despite the trials. Do yourself a favor. Please go to your nearest Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube Music or Amazon, wherever, and just download this song. Play it on repeat, honey. Play it while you're in the shower, while you're in the bathtub, while you're journaling. It is a beautiful song. I really want you to sit with that. Such a beautiful song. And now we come to the end of our episode. And I'm going to leave you with a bedtime story. Okay? This is something that I wrote a few months ago. And I wanted to add this as a new pivot to the Scoop with Hershey Sunday. Bedtime stories and original stories written by myself that can kind of help you wind down, round off the episode and the night, and a little something for you to think about. And since we are talking about self love, especially for the month of February, I wrote this with self love in mind. So get cozy and snuggle up. I'm about to read your bedtime story. The title is called When She Finally Chose Herself. She ended the relationship on a Tuesday, not because it was loud or cruel or dramatic, but because it was quietly draining her, and she finally listened. By all accounts, it was a good relationship, the kind people nodded approvingly at, the kind her friends told her to be patient with, the kind that looked stable enough to build a life around. And for a while, she tried. She tried because she was 30 something and aware of time in a way she hadn't been before. She tried because people had started asking questions that lingered too long in the air. She tried because leaving meant starting over, and starting over felt expensive in energy, in hope, and courage. But every night, when she laid her head down beside someone who loved her in theory, but not in practice, her body told the truth before her mouth ever could. She was tired in a way sleep didn't fix. So she chose herself. The decision didn't feel brave at first. It felt lonely. It felt irresponsible. It felt like stepping off a path everyone else swore would lead somewhere safe. But the morning after she left, something shifted. She woke up alone in her high-rise condo, the one she worked so hard for, the one she paid for every month, the one she had barely lived in. Sunlight poured through the floor to ceiling windows like it had been waiting for her to notice. She stood there, barefoot on cool tile, and asked herself something she hadn't asked in a long time. Why don't I use the life I've built? That afternoon, she went downstairs and used the amenities she ignored for months. She swam laps in the rooftop pool, her body slicing through water that felt clean and forgiving. She sat in the sauna and let heat loosen the tension she'd been carrying in her jaw, her shoulders, and her chest. She breathed deeply for the first time in a long while. Later that evening, she cooked a meal instead of picking at takeout. She seasoned her food slowly. She played music she loved. She ate at the counter, candles lit, phone nowhere near her reach. The food tasted better when she wasn't rushing. Over the next few weeks, color returned to her world. She noticed how her sheets smelled like clean cotton instead of someone else's cologne. She moved her body in ways that felt like gratitude instead of punishment. She journaled at night, not to vent, but to thank herself for choosing peace. She stopped asking what she should want and started listening to what she needed. And what she needed was space. Space to grieve what could have been, space to admit she had been settling, space to forgive herself for staying longer than she should have. Some nights were still hard. There were moments when she wondered if she'd made a mistake, when the quiet felt too loud, when her biological clock ticked a little louder than she wanted to hear, when she imagined how much easier it might have been to stay. But then she remembered how small she felt while trying to keep something alive that was slowly emptying her. She realized something important in those moments. Love should not feel like depletion. So she poured into herself instead. She booked the massages she always postponed. She filled her fridge with food that nourished her body instead of numbing her feelings. She moved through her days with intention, no longer rushing home to be half seen. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, she became radiant in a quiet way. Not because she was dating again, not because she had everything figured out, but because her cup was full. She had become the kind of woman she once waited for someone else to be for her. The kind who noticed, the kind who showed up, the kind who listened, the kind who stayed. One night, standing at her window, city lights blinking like 1,000 tiny witnesses, she smiled. Not because she had all the answers, but because she finally trusted herself enough to choose peace over potential. And for the first time in a long time, she didn't feel behind. She felt exactly where she was supposed to be. If any part of that story felt familiar to you, if you saw yourself in her, even just a little bit, I want you to know something. Choosing yourself doesn't mean you chose wrong before. It just means you're choosing differently now. You don't have to have everything figured out tonight. You don't have to rush the healing. You don't have to be brave every single day. Sometimes the bravest thing is letting yourself rest. So wherever you are right now, I hope you feel held. And if you're still awake, just know you're not alone. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the episode. I want to thank you so much for spending part of your night with me. If you want a little more, a little in between, okay, I'm getting ready to launch an email blast for the Still Awake crew. Okay, I'm calling it Still Awake. If you want a little more of what I didn't get a chance to say in the episode, a little preview of the upcoming episodes, all the tidbits, be sure to email me, okay, or DM me. Let me know you want to be a part of the blast. Again, it is thescoophs@gmail.com. And I would love to have you, okay? Wherever you are tonight, Just be gentle with yourself. Until next time, this is Hershey Sunday, and I'm back with the scoop after dark. See you next time. Peace.